This is our 4 p.m. Women in Crypto featuring Sharona. We have Lynette, who we had earlier on day 1. And we have Pixie, who we spoke to just now. Some great inspiring women. And and here comes Rhonda right now, getting her into the room. She's on her way.
Yes.
Yeah, so just so you know, a little bit of housekeeping. If you have just joined us, we are streaming live on 2 different metaverses right now. We are in Otherverse Classic, we are in Otherverse Down, which we just released a patch. So if you are trying to download that, please have patience. Everybody is trying to download it right now. If you have problems, we do have support staff on hand to help you out with that. We're also on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're everywhere. And I am looking at all the screens, taking all the questions. This is going to be an amazing conversation with these amazing women who are very, very successful and very, very active in the crypto and Web3 space. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to you guys. And what I'd love to do first is, let's just, well, for a picture, let's just start off with, I'd like to go around and just have all of you introduce yourselves. And then, let's just get the conversation going. How about that?
Okay.
Who would like to go first?
And with that, she just disappears on us.
Well,
I actually think Anna should be on the panel.
I'm actually still here and everybody sees me all day long. I just want to make sure that your videos take center stage, but I'm still here. My voice is still here. Don't you worry. I'm not going anywhere, but your 4 videos are now prominent and in front. Everyone's seen my face for years. They don't need to look at me.
Everybody who thinks Anna should headline a panel or a talk all on her own next year, put a 1 in the chat.
Oh man. I'm here though. Trust me, I'm here. I'm with you guys. Don't worry. You know what? And for that, Rhonda, I'm going to pick on you.
This is how I always got in trouble at school. This is exactly how it happened. I don't know. Hi, Pixie. It's good to see you. Say Lynette. That's your pronoun. This has been, I honestly had to pack a lunch today because yesterday I was like starving by the end of the day because these speakers in the last couple of days have been mind-blowing. And Lynette, you really kicked it off with a bang yesterday morning. So
thank you.
Here for girls, right?
My
name's Rhonda Benbo. I work with the Nexus team, and we are highly involved with the Otherverse and the amazing things that they're doing over there. My background is pretty much in marketing and sales, and I've spent 9 years with this team of the Nexus group, and we got drug into crypto. I don't know, Sharona, when it happened, but it was just like they drugged me kicking and screaming. I'm like, no. And now I can't imagine, right? I mean, when you look at crypto and Web3 and the evolution and the platforms and the opportunity that this has allowed for so many, it's just absolutely amazing. And I still need help with my crypto wallet quite often, but yes, thank you, Sharona.
I'm the fairy godmother. That helps with that.
Yes. So even after all these years working in it, I spend more of my time in social media or graphics and the marketing side. And I still can't imagine my future without crypto. I can't. Oh, I'm 16 years old, and I need all the help I can get. With my 401k took a hit, and like everyone's, right? So it's given this opportunity for folks to really rebuild those resources, and I think that's one of the most amazing things about crypto, Web3. It just all the opportunity for people if they just grasp it, if they'll just step out of their fear and say, you know what, I'm going to try this. I'm going to see, and baby steps their way into crypto, and you never know what's going to happen. So that's me.
Sharona, what about you? Why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Sharona Labrosse, aka Grateful Badger in Discord, where I've been very, very busy the last couple of weeks as we've been getting ready for the Otherverse token launch. Questions and questions, which leads me to my main position here. I worked in customer service for 35 years for the provincial government. I'm Canadian, and when I retired in 2017, I came to just work casually for the parent company of Nexus and NextWeb3, and I'm still working in customer service. That's my main role. I help people MacGyver through whatever they need to. We teach, we help. I've had two main support staff we work together, Carolyn and Candace. Kudos out there to you two. And just as a combined, we are quite the little niche in the Nexus. I did a little head count, and we have 13 people altogether as part of the main team. 5 guys, 8 women. How's that in a crypto company?
I love that.
Right.
Love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, that's what I do. I just try and keep everybody happy and kind of team mama. So there we go.
Love that. Thank you. Lynette, what about you? We met you yesterday, but let's introduce you for those who have not met you yet.
All right. Yeah, I'm Lynette, and I was always entrepreneur. I owned my own pet supply store, grooming salons, boarding, kenneling, doggy daycare. I did that for 25 years. I don't own a dog. I can't do the dog thing after 25 years of working with pets, but I retired in my 40s from that and dabbled in network marketing, which, again, companies that always fall apart. I mean, there's just as many scams and cons and networking, as there are in the crypto space that just come out of the woodwork. So I gave that up, said, can't do this no more. And I really dug into crypto. I mean, I bought my first Bitcoin in 2009, but I really didn't understand it, didn't really put much time or effort into it. But in 2014, I really dug into crypto, and I'm fully addicted to crypto. I rarely use a bank, and banks haven't caught up to the idea of crypto yet. I mean, even today, dealing with a bank, it's like, well, where's this coming from? And it's crypto, crypto's a scam. And I'm looking at my banker going, I've been here for how long? And you guys are going to come to me and tell me this. I don't even, everything I do is crypto. It has been that way for years. So and the reason I think banks are that way, it provides so much financial freedom to people. You're in control of your own money. You're using a bank pretty much as an intermediary, right? To get your crypto into USD so that you can go pay your bills or do whatever it is that you want to do. And you don't have to rely on banks. It's so gratifying, like to have that personal control over your finances. You don't have somebody telling you what you can and what you can't do with it. Just got to find a friendly bank that understands, what that crypto is. But it's life-changing. It's been life-changing for me. I'm 56 years old, and I've been debt-free for years because of crypto. You can do whatever you want. The sky is the limit. You just have to be so careful, and you have to understand what crypto is so that you can, decipher through what's solid, what's not. You can tell the difference between the good and the bad, the solid and the murky. Because there's more murky waters, I think, than there are really good projects. But that's why you have people like us on this panel to help you understand what to be involved in, what to look for, what to stay away from. And I got to tell you, it was not my lifelong dream to create a crypto project. Honestly, it's like absorbed the last almost 3.5 years of my life. It's taken me away from my friends, from my family, from my social life, it's just completely, consumed my whole life. But I felt like I had to do it because if somebody didn't come out and show the power behind crypto and what it takes to build one the right way, it was just going to keep going on. And crypto is just too powerful for, for that to be included in this landscape. And women are smart. I gotta tell you, I'm not saying men aren't, but this is a predominantly male space. And so I love being able to, collaborate with other women. Women are good organizers. They're good planners. They're good, at critiquing things and being, paying attention to details. And so it's been fun to meet other women in this space. And it's a very difficult space for women because it is so predominantly a male space. You know what I mean?
And we care. And we care.
Yeah.
And speaking of caring, Pixie, we just met you, but please, for those of us who have just tuned in, please introduce yourself.
I'm Pixie, and I currently pack and unpack my suitcase in Charleston, South Carolina. And I would define myself as a trailblazer in alternative finance. I was like the only female calculus teacher certification when I went to college, right? It was the only woman in the room. You're talking math and numbers and dollars. It was the only woman in the Boston Sweat Lodge when I got my Series 7 stockbroker's license. The only woman in my field at American Express teaching financial planning. And certainly when I came into this space, like you all just said, one of the very few women in this space, and teaching financial literacy skills to women for over 4 decades now. I'm a lot older than all of you, by the way. I'm always the oldest woman in the room, but I'm not going to tell how much. But I'm older than everybody in the room. I really just, as I mentioned, I was so disappointed that the same conversations I'm having at Lunch and Learns about women and their financial independence, back in the early 80s, are the statistics have not budged like by this tiny much in all of these years, even with all the major strides that we've made. And so it's frustrating to me that even moving into CEO positions for corporations, and it's still such a small number, that women are still just not as equally prepared as their male counterparts. And at this point, there is no excuse for it. There was a lot of excuses in the past, but now there are enough resources that stick your head in the sand mentality just doesn't cut it. And 90% of women will be 100% alone. 90% of us will be alone at some point in our life, whether it's through divorce or death or choice, we will be alone. And so you got to be 100% ready, and not just living by, existing means, but really thriving in whatever life you choose. And you can choose whatever you want, but there's no excuse for not being prepared for the life that you want to live. And so I'm hopeful that through all of my businesses, I'm currently running 14 corporations, filing 14 sets of tax returns, pain in the neck. And, all of them have been a little subset of what I found. Like, okay, I'm doing financial planning. That I started building golf resorts, and there was no women developers in golf. Then I got asked to consult in a technology company for the purification of alcohol. There was no woman in that space. And it's really about science and engineering when you get into that space. Then I had to bring on entertainment for the PGA and LPGA events. Well, there was no women in entertainment, no women record labels, no women entertainment companies. Like each of the things I'm going along, there were no women in the space. I just found out yesterday that I won. So this year alone, in the past year, just the accolades have been crazy with fastest growing company in the Southeast Inc. 5000, top 50 companies in South Carolina. One of my customers came in sipping on a bourbon and said, "Congratulations." I said, "What did I do now?" And he said, "Oh, you're in the manufacturing magazine that I get." And I said, "Really? Interesting." I said, "Can you find that for me? I would love to see that." So he went out to his car, he had the little laptop or whatever, and brought it in and showed me and said, "Here's my manufacturing newsletter. And here it is, Pixie Paula Dezzutti, manufacturing maven of South Carolina." I said, "Interestingly." So now, right? So I made it to the top of the top in manufacturing, because that's really what I am. But they had to just filter it a little bit, right? With that little,
that word, the one word there.
So I just was awarded the manufacturing maven of South Carolina.
Congratulations.
Thanks. But to the point,
Take
right?
the win.
I don't even think about this. How many women are really in manufacturing? As I mentioned before, there's less than 0.1% of distilleries worldwide are owned by women, and I own 4. There is no other women hybrid brewery distillery owner. So because I own my distillery and my breweries. And it's just, why? It's like all these are perfectly suited to women and their natural skills, serving and leading and giving and planning. And, it's just an opportunity, hopefully, with crypto and with the first NFT that I created in my $1 trillion alcohol space, bringing it to the blockchain, that it's an opportunity to educate women, everybody, but specifically my heart is for women, because I've struggled trying to get to the next level, because most of the people doling out the dollars for me to advance are coming from men who are sitting there, and I'm swimming circles intellectually around their head. They don't know what I'm talking about. And they're the ones controlling the pocketbook.
Right. I want to ask you guys this. I've been in the space for a long time. I've been in the crypto space since the beginning. I've been in the tech space. I met Brian back in 2003 and been at Otherverse since the very beginning. Opened my first company online when, AOL was still giving out the CD-ROM in the mail.
You've got mail.
Yeah, exactly. I started my first company out of university then when I was getting the CD-ROM in the mail. But my question to you is this, and I have noticed the change over the years. I know it's a very male-dominated society and industry, in particular when we're talking about tech, when we're talking about crypto, and we're talking about Web3. But I have seen a progression. I've seen a change where there's a lot more women. I mean, we're sitting all here right now with all of you. You're brilliant, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're extremely talented, you're successful. Have you seen a change? But even though we're sitting here today, what date is it? September 27th, 2024. What continues to be the challenges that you face? Not the challenges that you have faced, but what I'm interested in is what are the challenges that you continue to face today at this date moving forward?
You asked just a real quick question before the next question. That was, what changes have you seen? So I have to say, Dawn Clifton, who works on our team, was supposed to be on this panel. And there's this little thing happening tomorrow for Otherverse, some token or something. I don't know. It's launching, a big TGE is going on, whatever. Dawn is in programming and that back end space. And she has been on phones with devs since 5 a.m. this morning, probably never really went to bed last night. And she is, I think she's the shining example of what has changed and where that opportunity is. And when I look at children these days, kids in grade school who are learning programming and coding and really focusing on STEM, and the entire education system is aware that they should not and cannot differentiate between boys and girls in school, and that everyone has the opportunity to dive into whatever drives their passion. And so I look at the fact that Dawn couldn't be here today because she's still on the phone with the devs, because the TGE is happening tomorrow, and if she doesn't stay on with the devs and keep them on task and keep them going, then it's not going to happen tomorrow, and that's not an option. And I love that about, I think, women in general. That is not an option. Pixie, you've started 14 companies. I am sure that not every single one of those is a resounding, success. That some are way bigger than others. It must be Italian. I had no idea. And we just keep trying, and we don't give up. We will not, we won't put our head on the pillow until the kids are fed, the dog is fed, and laundry's done, and our work is done. And when we do go to bed, I think our minds are still, like Sharona doesn't sleep as well. She's constantly concerned about our community, about the people that are following our projects, that are, putting faith in MoveQuest and in Pixie and in True Badger and in Otherverse and in all of these things. it's a challenge because we tend to, get tired, but I am so excited that I'm seeing more and more of that. We're seeing more and more women step forward and be a kind of red queen with Otherverse. I mean, she basically, I mean, geez, there's a gal, she, is, I don't know, probably built the back end of Otherverse, right? And is such a creative force behind. So it is, we're there. Sometimes maybe we work so hard that people don't notice us and we don't speak up enough. And that, I think, is one area where we could say, all right, let's toot our own horn, because men are really good at that and women oftentimes are not. So I think there is an area where we can start taking that power and saying, hey, look at me. Pixie's really, really good at saying, I will not be ignored. And I love that. I love that. I admire that. So that, from my perspective, is a shine, is really where the opportunity lies for women. I think is just dive in, learn it, and we never give up. So, like, I ran out of Cheetos, my friend Jill would always say. Don't give up. Oh.
It's true though, but we're seeking out women with similar, like, we're still a kindred community. Yeah. But like, when I leave here and go to the Elks Club, no one is going to understand anything I'm talking about, right? It's not commonplace. They're not talking about that. They're not. So we still have a long way to go. We've come a long way, but we still have such a long way to go. I would love it that if you're, when you go to church, or I'm just giving an example, everybody's there talking. It's like just commonplace, just like they're talking about what they're going to do for Sunday dinner. Like, that financials are just so commonplace and easily handled. They're not handled in the school systems right now. One of the reasons we formed Skirt, they're just not being handled.
I think that mentorship.
Can I chime in on this for just a second?
Yeah, Lynette, please go.
So here's what I'm going to say about all this. I was raised by my dad. He was a single parent. And so me and my sister kind of like the boys he never had. So we were always raised to, speak our mind, be respectful, be forceful, forced to be reckoned with. I think that sometimes women create their own challenge in this space. I'm not intimidated by men in the least. In fact, I work with, because it is in the crypto space, honestly, I probably work with 99% of men. And men also have a very deep respect for strong women, for women who have brains, for women who don't give up and who keep going. And so men are also very supportive. And I think that sometimes women create their own challenge in their mind, because you are sometimes, because it just depends, I think, a lot on people's backgrounds or how, they've been treated, growing up and into your young youth or whatever. But, speak out, be firm, stand your ground. And men do respect that. Men are very supportive as well in this space. And so sometimes I think women hold themselves back because they don't necessarily know how to express themselves. And in this space, I get men that challenge me all the time. By the time we get off a call, they've learned something. And what I learned is that they didn't know as much as I thought they did 9 times out of 10. And if you do it the right way, some of them I've completely ticked off, she thinks she's, smart. No, I don't think I'm the smartest in the group. And I know that crypto is still evolving, and that it's a very, it's always going to be, you're always going to be learning something. But I also do know what I know, and I don't care if it's a man or a woman, they're not going to run over me, and they're not going to change what I do know. You know what I mean? But so, I think I don't think being a woman in the space is challenging on its own. I think that sometimes we as women make it more challenging for ourselves because we're not sure how we'll be receptive, because it is such a predominantly male space. But being a woman in this space, I have learned that men actually do appreciate the knowledge that women do have, because we do deep dive into things and make it our business to understand and know what it is. you just got to surround yourself with the right people, and the sky's the limit. I really, honestly, this has probably been one of the most exciting things I've done, the most exhausting, the most stressful, but also the most rewarding. And I have learned through this adventure that, men are actually very receptive, very supportive. And honestly, I would say we probably have more men building the community of MoveQuest than we do women. So, yeah, they have this male bonding, what do you call it? Like the man cave mentality. They love to, male bond and hang out, but they're also very supportive of women, and they'll have your back to the end. Let me tell you, let somebody talk bad about you, and they're gonna go find whoever it is with a bat and look for their kneecaps. You know what I mean? Like that is what you will find in this space. So I think it's it can be challenging, but I also think it's very rewarding. I think that men like to work with women in this space.
I think this space and bourbon, it's such a level playing field. It's true, because they think they know, right? But they don't know. And so it's just such a great opportunity for new finance. And I'll just call it the general, Web3 and crypto space, for women and men are really on an equal footing. We're all learning together. This is new virgin territory for all of us. So there's no more excuses to like, oh, my husband marries that, husband marries that, man does that. Not like that doesn't even exist. They don't even know what they're talking about. Same thing with bourbon. They all pretend like they know the rules. They don't. I argue with so many people every day that say bourbon has to be made in Kentucky. And I'm like, okay, so just go to Google. Like, I don't even want to fight you on this. Just go to Google and learn the rules, right? But the things that scare me in all of life are still Roe versus Wade being overturned. Things that are like, you think we're making such progress, and then like things come out of nowhere that are just so crazy. So it's so important in these leading fields for women to stand their ground. I mean, what an interesting election, right? It's going to be. It's just, what a disaster it is, but still, how interesting. I don't know what it says. No matter what happens, it's going to be saying something. But it's just interesting times we're living in.
It is very interesting times.
It is.
Got to stay away from the politics, though.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, who the heck knows what? Whatever will be said, something will be said.
Well, we can hand it to Sharona. She's Canadian. She's Canadian, so she's.
There you go.
I'm Canadian as well, Sharona.
Yes.
So, but we're right next door, so we're watching. I actually have some questions that are coming in, so I'm just going to start asking them because I want to make sure that the people who are
good luck managing all of us. You're so good.
Oh, I got you. Don't worry. Don't worry. I actually have a granddaughter, so I can handle everybody here. Believe it or not. So the question.
And you were with Brian. So
yeah, there you go. So the question that came in was, how did your families react to the choice that you guys made to follow crypto? Were they worried that you were going to get scammed and end up broke? Actually, that's a pretty decent question. I know.
That's an awesome question.
Absolutely.
Every single one of them.
I got to give you a really quick story. So in 2002, I met Brian, and my mom asked me, what is this thing that you're doing? Is this a real job? Are you playing a video game? You're going to move to the other side of the country, because at the time I was living on the East Coast, and Brian wanted us all to come out to the West Coast. And she was like, you're going to move to the West Coast, uproot your entire life for what? A video game? What is this? Like, this was, and this is 2002, 2003, right? So it's very, very new. So this concept of working from home didn't exist. This concept of working online didn't exist. This concept of like virtual currency didn't exist. I'm trying to explain to her, I'm not playing a video game. This is an actual job. And she was absolutely petrified for me. So yes. But yeah, please continue.
No, I worked for 30 something years in the beauty industry in sales and marketing, international beauty products, very, I'm just gonna say girly if you want to, whatever, right? So it was about nails. So pretty much all female. And I was at dinner a few weeks back with my boss and mentor, one of my mentors, and it's been, I don't know, 12, 14 years, since I've been in that space doing that. And we're at dinner with some friends and talking, and Jim says, so, what's happening with crypto? I loved it, because everybody that I used to work with that are like, I'm sorry, you're doing what? And finance was not my background. Sales and marketing was my background. And so for them to hear me talk about financial stuff, let alone cryptocurrency, my brother asks me, he's an accountant, CPA, he's started a hedge fund or something like that. I don't know. And, Jim is the CEO. He's got millions and he plays the stock market and he's asking me about crypto and how's Bitcoin doing. And he owns Bitcoin. And I love it. I crack up and it makes me a little nervous because I want to make sure, on my toes and giving them the right information, right? Because it's a sense of responsibility that, geez, these people are looking to me. And when I first started, they're like, really? Like you, well, just saying that, Anna's like, her mom's like, well, what is it? What? And so it's a bit nerve-wracking for my friends, immediate friends going, what are you going to do? But I'd already been with our team for so long. We just sort of like, yeah, let's do this. Yeah, let's dive into this. So most of my friends are actually my family at Nexus. So now we're like this. Right. But I do love it when my friends ask me what's happening in crypto.
Well, and I'm kind of opposite. I don't talk about this with my children, my adult children, because it's like, what are you doing? And I thought, okay, I'm just not gonna. So we just carry on. I'm retired, but I'm working at home and I work more full time than I did when I worked full time. And, sometimes I've missed things because of work. Like, aren't you retired? Well, yeah, I work. And so what I did when Rhonda wrote our bios for coming to the panel. And when I read the bio she put together for me, I'm like, what? Holy smokes, I can't wait to show my kids what I did. And I told my son today on the phone, he's a little more receptive. I told him about the conference and we're doing a panel and I'm going to share the bio with you so you know what I do. I was really impressed with what I do. And I'm going to make sure
I'm impressed with what you do.
Well, yeah, me too. Oh, I read it. It's written, so it must be true, right? But yeah, they don't know what they don't know. They're just, but my 14-year-old grandson is interested in crypto. So we have talks, but we don't really, because I'm not going there and, shaking up any boats or whatever. I do have accounts for all of them though. And oh yeah, they all have their own MetaMask in my MetaMask. And yeah. So
Nice.
someday they'll be happy that I did that. So.
Lynette, you had said people when the first question that was asked if people thought you were crazy that you joined crypto. You said, "Oh yeah." Can you explain more about that reaction?
Well, yeah, I mean, nobody understood what crypto was back when we first got started. I mean, I've been involved in crypto since, like I said, 2009, and everything, it's a scam. It's never going to last. And my sister particularly, she's like, why didn't you drag me into this? Like, why did you just, when you told me about it, and I said, oh yeah, it probably won't last. Why did you just walk away? Well, I'm not going to beg anybody to get involved, but what they have done, my family, is they have watched and they've learned a lot. Every single one of my kids got started in crypto before they had even left home. I now have my grandchildren involved in crypto. My 8-year-old granddaughter, my daughter-in-law calls me up last night. She goes, you need to have DM out there talking about MoveQuest. She's totally sold me on it. She even told me I can customize my account. She told me about the different, miners that you can use. She was explaining crypto to me. She's 8 years old. So basically what I've done, even though none of them wanted to really be involved in it, is I made it a part of our conversations. I made it a part of our lives. I made them follow the news. I would send, the different articles and things that would come out to the point where they couldn't help themselves, and they're all involved in it now to the point where they even understand it. So I've got my 14-year-old who now is saving crypto so she can buy her first car when she's 16 years old, pay cash for it. She's understanding blockchain and the different tokens and the coins. And I got my 8-year-old granddaughter now out there explaining what MoveQuest is to people, So I think that, yes, everybody at first thinks, the worst, like, oh my God, why would you do that? But they watch. They're intrigued by it. That's the thing. People are often afraid of things they don't know or understand. And they don't want to be the first one, that jumps into something and be the one that
We
makes
do.
the mistake. But me, I don't care. I mean, I do what I want to do. I'm not afraid of, I don't know if there's anything I really am afraid of. I mean, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it all the way. You know what I mean? Oh,
Right.
heights. I'm terrified of heights. I'll never get in a hot air balloon, stuff like that. But
I feel
this kind
that.
of stuff, but I'm going to do it myself and learn it. And, people watch and then they are intrigued by that. Next thing you know, they're playing it. Like I taught my sister, she's like, well, how do you make money in crypto? Like by buying and selling. And I said, here, I'm just going to show you. And it's my little inside secret. And I tell people the best way to do it, go to CoinMarketCap. And when you see all of the coins and tokens in the green, that means people are entering the market. You got to understand something. People are not pulling their money out of the crypto space, okay? Because you have stable tokens. And when you see those stable tokens red, that means everybody's entering the market. But when you see those stable tokens going green and you start to see the other coins and tokens go red, it's time to move your money into the stable market. And so if you follow that, you can win. You don't have to know how to read charts. You don't have to do all these, fancy, you don't have to understand all that. You just got to know when the market's moving and move with it. That's it. And so I remember I set her up with $1,500 and within a year she had made $60,000 just doing it that way. So, that's, I think the best way. Yes, everybody's going to start out with their doubts. They don't believe it because there's so much controversy. I mean, you got your left, you got your right side of everything. And so I think that people learn by watching, and then you just kind of give them the opportunity to get involved, and they do, and they love it.
Love that. I love that. One of the things that is really important to me is to empower younger people, women,
Mhm.
men, everybody. With all the work I do, and as I learn things and make mistakes, to pass on the knowledge that I get. And so let me ask you, what is your most valuable piece of advice that you can give? And because this is a panel about women in crypto, let's focus on women. The most valuable piece of advice you could give to women looking to enter this field or enter this space. One piece of advice. Pixie, let's start with you. What do you think?
Well, I have 6 boys and 3 girls, and it's interesting to me how much the girls will. Well, when you're a mom, right? You know nothing. Mothers know nothing until a certain age, and then they start to think, oh, maybe she knows something. Well, moving into this space, since they know nothing about it, it was very hard for them to be challenging me about, oh, mom must know something, right? Because she's moving forward. And when we launched the first NFT, and I had to say to the kids, okay, we're entering this space, we're formalizing booze bucks, we're going to create our token, we're going to get our NFT, and we're going to launch this. Our big technology around the barrel of bourbon. So we're like, this is going to be it. This barrel of bourbon is going to represent the first NFTs in this industry. They put the barrel in the back of the distillery and with blue tape wrote all over it, NFT, do not drink. That was it. That was the advanced technology about our shrine, about the first NFT made in the multi-trillion-dollar spirit. It literally has blue painter's tape on it that says NFT. It says something like NFT crap, do not drink. So they don't really get it, right? And they'll say to me, but you're still working for our inheritance, right, Mom? Now that they get. So they are watching just because if it relates to them, they're going to watch, right? And so if you're moving, Lynette, those kinds of numbers and you're setting that up for the kids and the grandkids and everybody, of course they're going to start to pay attention. So I think just leading by example, just keep doing it, that sooner or later they're going to be involved. Now, I will hear them say something like, well, don't tell mom, but I got a Robinhood account, or like little things like, like they want to explore on their own. I doubt any single one of them has read my book. But again, it was occurring to me yesterday that as much as my kids can hate me on any given day, they still all work for me and no one will leave. And I thought, this is how we lead. Again, to lead is to serve, right? And I'm thinking, we go back to purpose. I keep saying about purpose, right? What was my purpose on the planet? To be inspiring, even in my own backyard, my own children, forcing them to really expand their own selves into reaching, because of everything that I'm reaching for, they're everything. They're forced to be able to reach with me to keep this big enterprise going. And I'm willing to take the, oh, my mother makes me crazy, or I hate mom, or I can't believe mom's doing all the criticisms, because I know that I'm pushing these little souls into huge expansion. So that's what I love about all this, is that they're having to expand just by watching.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. Sharona, what about yourself? What's one piece of advice you would give to a woman looking to start out in this field?
Well, and to a man too, but the basic is don't click on any links and never give away your 12 words, because we find that all the time when people are new and they just don't quite get it. But those are the two most important safety rules, and safety has to be first. And a lot of people have found out the hard way, myself included. Somewhere I clicked a link and you know what happened. So I just always emphasize that and just expand on that when we're helping people open wallets and that kind of thing. Just really reinforce those things.
So yeah, that's your seed phrase, your password. Don't give any of that stuff out to anybody, not even
click on links. And MetaMask will never email you to tell you that you should validate your wallet or Trust Wallet or any of them. Don't believe any of those emails you get. Toss them.
That was the hardest thing with launching the barrel, is that no one knew how to open the wallets, right? So it was really an education process, because they wanted to make this investment. They loved the asset-based investing in the NFT, but they didn't know how to do it.
Mechanics.
And Pixie, I have your book. It's great.
Oh, thank you.
I gotta read it now.
I love the testimonial.
I gotta read it.
Sure.
Rhonda, what about you? What piece of advice would you give to someone just starting out in this field?
If you're going to, and this field is so huge,
right?
So you have to look at the field. There's Web3. There's you can dive into blockchain. You could, if you're not comfortable with the crypto, there are so many other components to what is happening in Web3 and in this space. So you learn everything that you can about the components that make this up, and then find a mentor. Yesterday, our friend Brad also gave a talk, and he referred to his mentor like, what, 5 times, right, in this talk that he gave her. I think finding a mentor who can just keep their eye out for you and make sure that, to encourage you and push you along, like moms do. You kick them out, you push them out of the nest when they're ready, but you make sure that they know how to spread their wings. And so I would say you sort of explore all the different areas of Web3 and decide, are you a creative like Anna? And are you analytical? Are you, do you want to start your own organization, your own company, create an app like Lynette has done? And then find a mentor who has done that and learn everything that you can from them. And I think that is I think, Paul, you have talked about it in your last talk, but we mentioned it here as well. It's one of the responsibilities that we have as people on this planet, let alone women, to mentor people and offer guidance and offer advice and make sure that people know there are places to go. So I would say, yeah, find out which way you want to go in this space, find a mentor, find a community that will embrace you and hold you through it. And then don't look back.
Do it alone. You don't need to do it alone.
Yeah, don't do it alone and don't look back, just dive in. She's brilliant at that. I mean, she's just boom, 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 never slows down.
Love that.
Lynette, I'm sure you don't sleep. I'm sure because
Well, Lynette,
I
let's hear from
do
you.
actually. I
What
do.
is
I
it?
get my 4 to 6 hours a night in. Yes.
4 to 6. All
Me
right.
too. Lynette, what about you? What's your piece of advice that you would give?
So I agree with everything that these gals have said. I mean, one, you got learn the basics first, and start out with blockchain technology because that's really the fundamentals of crypto. And then, learn what is the difference between projects that are built on blockchain. And if you're thinking about creating a project, build it on the fundamentals of blockchain, lock arms with like Rhonda was saying, mentors, people that are in the space that do actually understand it, that can kind of explain, regulations and things that you want to kind of, stick with, so that you're compliant as best as can be for what, is known in this area. And also be able to shift gears really quick because the space is evolving so fast. So you've got to make sure that you keep up on everything that's moving, because it changes so fast. I mean, where crypto started, 14, 15 years ago and where it's at today are worlds apart. So you've got to be able to adapt and shift and, lock arms with the right people, and be able to stay on your toes. I mean, I'm constantly, keeping myself up to date because things change so fast. What is the SEC saying now? What is this saying? What is that saying? What do I have to do? What's gray, what's white, what's black, what's really here in front of me. So you've got to be able to, shift quickly, lock arms with the right people, and make sure that you are adaptable and can pivot on a
Pivot.
dime.
That is absolutely important. Ladies, I don't know where the time has gone. I could speak to you for hours. The wealth of knowledge here is.
We should meet for a drink at Pixie's place. And
Yes.
Right? Well, we should make a plan for that one day, I tell
Yeah.
you. But before I let you go, I want to give each of you one more minute. Let's go around and just any final words. How can people get a hold of you? Because I know that you have inspired absolutely everybody who's here. A lot of women are speaking up as well in the audiences, in the chats. I'm looking at all of them. I got 5 monitors in front of me right now. It's pretty crazy. I'll have to actually show you some pictures of what my setup is like.
I don't know if I'd love to see it or if it would give yours, but
I'll send Dawn some screenshots and I'll pass them on to you. But yeah, it's a bit nuts. But yeah, I'd love to hear some final thoughts, some final words, and how can people get a hold of you? So whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first, actually. And what I have here is a little note from Dawn. Okay, she couldn't come. She sent me something and asked if it would fit in somewhere, if I could read it. So this is perfect.
Go for it.
Okay, so this is from our Dawn Clifton, who is our amazing amazing person. I'm so honored to be in this Web3 space with the other amazing women entrepreneurs I've been able to meet and work with. This is such an amazing time for us all, with the crypto and Web3 space being still relatively new. Structures, norms, and leadership roles are still being developed, offering tremendous opportunities for women to step in and carve out meaningful roles. Great opportunities and roles in leadership, development, innovation, entrepreneurship, and my favorite, community building. It is our responsibility to create safe and secure spaces for everyone to get involved in crypto and make it more inclusive and accessible. The best advice I could give other women is don't be afraid of the space. Find an amazing community, be bold, and look for opportunities in your skill set. We can all benefit from each other. Thank you, Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that.
Amen.
Amen to
bless
that.
you.
Aw.
Yeah, really bless you, Dawn.
Oh, there's just like, that was a mic drop right there.
Yeah, really.
Pixie. Go ahead, Rhonda.
I was gonna say, there's one area in this space, in metaverses in general, that I would love to see change quickly,
Mhm.
And I think the only people who can change it are women by pushing forward and saying no. And that is the representation of how women look in metaverses, in online gaming, in
Yes.
many of those where they are designed by probably more men than
Yep.
female. And there we are, all, don't look
I
like
mean,
me.
you don't
That's
want to be seen with the breasty shirt and the stilettos on, carrying
once in a while, but
Only
how
on Saturdays.
Saturday morning walk of shame. Never mind.
Right.
Another story for another time. And and I think that's the one area that needs to change so quickly. And
Agreed.
I don't know how to change it. So if someone has an idea for how to change it, tell me, and I will push and scream and
Well, guess what? You bringing it up here, right here in this forum, is the first step to changing it.
Absolutely.
It is a bit
That's it.
disconcerting, and if we not if but as we gain strength and a larger voice in this space, we need to be able to feel 100% comfortable. And I know, Lynette, we can stand up on our own, and we don't take up in human form, and so we shouldn't take it in an online form either.
I 100% agree with you. And
Absolutely.
you bringing that up, first step right there. And I'm seeing agreement, but I'm also seeing in the chat, tell us where your websites are. How can we get a hold of you? I'm
I love
literally
it.
just seeing that. So let's go around real quick. I can only give you guys a minute left because I've got my next guest waiting for me in the waiting room right now.
I am Stripe Pig Distillery or skirt.com. It's easy to find. Just Google Pixie Paula. I'll come up everywhere. Pixie Paula Official, anywhere and everywhere. And my last parting words, I mentioned this in the last presentation, and I really truly believe this, that the leading products and services of 20 and 24 beyond using Web3 and any of our technologies are going to come from the people who were meant to be leaders in these days and beyond. So stay strong and true to who you are. We're leading by example, and the development of the products and the services and the platforms will follow.
Agreed. Thank you. Lynette, what about you?
I can be reached at Lynette, Lynette at movequest.com. That's my email, Lynette at movequest.com. Our website is movequest.com. We'll be in our rebranded site here probably in the next few days. So prior to that, we're in our beta, Web3 getfitmining.com. But if you go to movequest.com, you'll see our trailer there. And then again, like I said, Lynette at movequest.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sharona.
We have so many places to go.
Mm.
What do you think, Rhonda?
Well, our main site is Nexus ecosystem.io, and that said, it's like we haven't had time to update that baby. So we have a new company that we're just launching in conjunction with the Otherverse, and that is metaforge.com. That's all about yes, Metaforge Group. Thank you. .com, and that is all about real estate in the virtual space and how to make money and profit from the boom that is coming. And I would say as well, follow our Nexus Ecosystem X account, and you'll see pepperings from all the different projects that we do. It might be one of the easier ways to keep
And you
up.
also have a booth in Classic. So they also have a booth there. You can go check them out at the convention, right?
I'm supposed to be there right now, Anna. Come on.
I know, I'm hustling. One really quick thing. I am actually seeing in the chat, you have started a ripple effect. There are people saying, yes, we don't like the characters. These are women speaking up for the metaverse here. You created the change.
I need yoga pants and a t-shirt.
I'm telling you right now, as someone who works at Otherverse, I am seeing these comments. I will pass them along. I agree with you. I hear you. Thank you, ladies, for an inspiring, amazing hour. thank you for gracing us with your presence, with your knowledge.
Yeah.
Truly appreciate this, and I hope to have you back next year. And maybe we can make this a little longer because I knew there was so much more to talk about. What do you think?
Yes.
That's
And
great.
what you'll want is like 5 more of us on the panel, because then it'll go for,
Well, we'll do more than one. We'll do more than one. We'll do one each day. All right,
you're
ladies, thank you
amazing.
so
Anna.
much.
You've
Love
done
you
great.
guys.
Thanks,
Thank you
Pixie.
guys,
Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
for
See,
being
this
here.
is what women do. We say, love you guys. Bye.
Love you guys. I do love
Group
you.
hug, group hug.
Oh.
I love you.
And as we say our goodbyes to these amazing ladies, stay tuned because in literally 2 minutes, we have the centralized business and node ownership with Tony Swatnick. So stay tuned. We're going to have him here. Bye, ladies. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.